Amen. 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 With the horns now.
Amen. Good morning to our radio listening audience. This is Larry Campbell,
the
your
rhythm
moderator
now.
for Community Focus.
Amen.
Today we have in the studio a native of Danville, Virginia. We have Percy Mormon. So happy to have you with us here at WKBY. The history of our region, and he has a book that is out called Behold the Real Lost World. Percy, we're so glad to have you here at Community Focus this morning.
Thank you, Larry. Thank you so much for having me in on your radio station today, and thanks for giving me the opportunity to be able to present what I have to say to the community.
Well, tell us about yourself, and let's go for it.
Okay, well, Larry, I'm sure a lot of the people know when I left this area, a lot of things that happened in my life, and a lot of people really don't know what to make of it. And me at the time, being so young and never have been exposed to anything like that, I didn't know what to make of it either.
Well, a lot of the community may not know when you say exposed or issues that happen.
Well, the politics of everything.
Okay.
I didn't really understand the politics of it, and most people in this area wouldn't know that my case set 9 precedents in North Carolina. So I rewrote their law book, but it was not ever exposed to the public from fear of possibly not being able to get recruits, from other areas. So that part was never even exposed to the community. Upon my quest, in which I've been through my life, I call it a searching for truth. And started this about 26 years ago. And basically, we read about everybody's story, everybody's history, but yet when it always came to we as a people, it was never elaborated anything fully, and it was always begins with slavery. Upon my quest, I never seen anybody's history begins with slavery. And that's what brings me here to tell you have an illustrious history. The whole world needs to know it. And that's why I wrote the book, and that's why I'm here today speaking.
Now, you're trying to say to the community who are listening to this broadcast this morning, each and every one of them, they have a great history.
They have a tremendous history. And
why do you say that, sir? Well,
we all have stories that we have heard in the past that we all descend from kings and queens and princes and what have you. But we actually didn't know where. And so everybody, even today, a lot of people consider themselves African American, in which some of us came from Africa, but a large majority of us didn't come from Africa. We were the kings and queens of Europe. And we had been coming to the Americas as this was our possession, as the whole of Alaska to Morocco.
Amen. 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 With the horns now. Amen. 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 Amen.
So the Atlantic Ocean was called the Ethiopian Ocean, and we had been coming back and forth way before Columbus. I can tell you that, but it was probably millions or so years ago. I'm not really sure the exact date, but we have stuff that shows coexistence from other countries that dates over 800 BC. So, and we know the exact date that Mexico was started, which was February 26, 747 BC, which came after the 5-day festival of Egypt. So this story is never talked about, and I think we really need to fully understand our story so that we can display that toward the world, because this area, these people are pretty much settled the rest of the state. So in all actuality, the rest of the people in the country predominantly are children from Southside Virginia. Well, the Southside Virginia were the native tribes here. These were the
What tribes were they?
Tougaloo, Occaneechi-Saponi, the Blackfoot, in which we've all heard tales of that, but we didn't know the extent of it. The Tougaloo, Saponi, and Blackfoot stories of their wealth had reached pretty much all across the seas, and people came from miles around and from different continents to come here to trade and do business with us. We had over 200 cities just in the state of Virginia alone, and not count on our migration trails goes from Halifax all the way up through Canada, all the way through the interior of Georgia. That was the migration trail in which we basically went on that trail and to travel the country. It all begins with here the government of the settlers of Jamestown and the London Corporation, what have you. They just concentrated on the Virginia tribes. Once they was able to beat the Virginia tribes, them being the mothers and fathers of the rest of the tribes, they was able to actually conquer the country.
The things that you are speaking on, why is it so important? What is the movement that you're trying to initiate in the community?
Amen. 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 With the horns now. Amen. With the rhythm now. Hey. Amen.
I think this movement has to begin here and start here, because just by our moniker, we say we're African Americans. Yet it's not a nationality. Black is not a nationality. It's an adjective that describes. So we don't have a nationality per se. That's why we're never in the discussions in the United Nations. We have to get to a point where we have to declare our nationality to be able to be in those discussions that the whole world goes under, and not having some civil laws in which the rest of the world has human laws.
Amen. Amen.
So we need to start that conversation, and we need to start in Southside Virginia, because we don't have a problem with math or science. We take 4 years and 5 years of math. We take 13 and a half years of history. Now somebody is doing something to control you. Now we all know the whole world is built on falsification of history, and pretty much we just been reclassified to African American, which basically took us from the land. At one time we was called free persons of color, then people of color, then Negro, then black, now African American. Neither one of them is a nationality. We need to start with that discussion here in Virginia, because it is the key to the whole rest of the country. Because if you're the mothers and fathers of them, how would you expect your children to know who they are if their mothers and fathers don't?
Well, I consider myself as a black American. I'm an American. I see a white man. He's an American. His skin color is white. I see us all as equal now. An individual may not carry himself in that way, positive or negative. I can understand the conversation, but for myself, I consider myself as an American.
Right. A lot of people do. I mean, the state set up the system of the government, the United States government. They set that up. It wasn't supposed to supersede the states. So most now, the United States was incorporated in 1871 in Britain. So if the United States of America incorporated, so if you're a citizen to a corporation, I don't know how you could be possibly a citizen to a corporation other than a product or service or some type of beneficial to the corporation.
Amen. Amen. Amen.